Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm all right. Stuff. Not sure why this is triggering, but there's no audio. Maybe. That's late, Emily. What's an hour late today? Wow.
Good morning.
Hello. Fine. All right, so I made a bot. This morning, I made a bot for the chat. So not for the chat, for Discord. So our morning pixel things that you guys like posting up are now there'll be a thread created at 8:30 at night. Or 8 o'clock at night. So then any topics you want to toss in there, you can toss into there after the thread is made. And then gonna go from there. And it's gonna grab the top posts from /R technology and from /R PC build help. And it's on a cron, so it'll automatically run. So. All right, let's see what we got this morning as we run down this list.
Waiting to see if how may we help you? Oh, yes, we do. We're a technician on the phone for you. Open screen.
This is Chris. Yeah, the replacement cost is $100 plus the screen itself. The screen usually, with stuff like that, the touchscreens usually run between like $150 to like $500, depending on what it is. You would need to bring the computer in because I have to take it partially apart to get the model number off the back of the screen. So there's a sticker on the back of the screen inside the case that I need. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bye. All right. I know. Apps like Grok are explicitly banned under Google's rules. Why is it still in the Play Store? This whole thing is kind of sort of getting out of hand. We knew this was going to happen. as soon as you take all the guardrails off of what these AI image generators can do, which is what Elon Musk's big thing was, this was going to happen. People are going to start doing deepfakes of kids, actresses, and politicians. And that is exactly what happened. I don't know why we're exactly surprised about this. There should be guardrails on absolutely everything to do with AI image generation. So, like this, like just take it down until you have something in place to prevent people from doing this. That's the simple solution. So, Ars Technica, Verizon stop automatically unlocking phones. FCC today granted Verizon's petition for a waiver of the 60-day unlocking requirement. Where the waiver is in effect, Verizon only has to comply with trade groups' voluntary unlocking policy. The CTIA policy calls for unlocking prepaid mobile devices 1 year after activation, while devices on postpaid plans can be unlocked after the contract. Unlocking a phone allows it to be used under the carrier's network, while Verizon was previously required to unlock the phones automatically. Now they don't have to. Yeah, so now Verizon can decide that, hey, if you buy a phone from us, you got to stay with us, period. So that's kind of stupid. Verizon used to sell phones that were already unlocked, but in 2019 it obtained a waiver that allowed it to lock phones for 60 days in order to deter fraud. In March 2025, Verizon said the 60-day locking period wasn't enough to stop fraud and asked the FCC to waive the requirement. In a press release today, the FCC said that the Verizon rule required one wireless carrier to unlock their handsets well earlier than standard industry practices, thus creating an incentive for bad actors to steal those handsets for purposes of carrying out fraud and other illegal activities. Like, here's what I'll say. If this brings Verizon in line with the other major carriers, I don't see a problem with it. If this gives Verizon some sort of strategic advantage over everyone else, then sure, I get it. Is it still doing it now? When I'm not having it run through my beard, my microphone. So it's still doing it right now. Okay, let's reset this. Okay, is it still doing it? Okay. Well, Be able to hear it now. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is that better? Okay. Let's see what happens when I go over here. So, like, this is a perfect example of why this becomes a problem, where a person had to sue Verizon to get their phone unlocked because the person bought the phone outright and Verizon refused to unlock it even after he had already unlocked it, after he had already paid for it fully. Like, sure, I get you're trying to stop fraud, but at the same time, if someone purchases something outright,
But from you, you're
yeah. A Northern Ireland politician targeting a deep fake video 4 years ago has said she is quitting Elon Musk's social media site X due to what she describes as a complete negligence in protecting women and children online. This is exactly what I was talking about in the first little news article we read. There should be no surprise here, unfortunately. Like, this is gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening until there's some guardrails put on this stuff. And people are out here trying to be like, oh yeah, we need zero AI regulation. Yeah. The only people who are calling for zero AI regulation are the people who have investments in AI. Everyone else feels that the guidelines should be there. Prominent leaker reveals NVIDIA's RTX 6000 series launch date. This is on PC World. Very clearly an unofficial source. Ruben, 2027. Yeah, that's... I don't see this coming before 2027. Based on this, of course, gaming graphics cards that will be part of the 6000 series, however many different variants will be expected. You know what wouldn't surprise me with this is if we see just two SKUs from NVIDIA and all of the rest of their production goes to all the production goes to AI. Like, you'll have a high end and you'll have a low end. You don't, like, the range is just going to go away because they either want you to buy the most expensive card or they want you to buy a card that gets the job done but doesn't give you VRAM because they want to put the VRAM other places. So, isn't AMD going to have a competitor for that card? AMD just follows whatever NVIDIA does when it comes to the GPU market, and then it's like, minus $50. That's generally how AMD's been for the past few cycles. Intel, on the other hand, is probably someplace where we should see a little bit of competition. Hopefully. Yeah, and those super cards, with the sudden surge in memory pricing, those super cards not going to happen, like we had seen. Steam Machine verified requirements will have fewer constraints than the Steam Deck, which makes perfect sense, seeing as the Steam Machine is a dedicated desktop that doesn't have to rely on battery. Only thing it has to rely on is cooling capabilities, which, as long as as long as Steam has that figured out, and Valve specifically has that all figured out, it's going to be perfectly fine. I buy one what, Emily? Oh, morning, everybody. It's so early. I don't know what to do with myself at 9:30 in the morning. According to Valve designer Lawrence Yang, developers hoping for a Steam Machine Verified badge can expect fewer constraints than the Steam Deck verification. Maybe, Emily. I'm not 100% on it yet. We have to reset that bot. I have no idea what that said. Would you buy a Steam machine for teardown and take a look at it? Yeah. If only, like, only if I intend on keeping it, though. That's the catch. Because otherwise I can't justify spending $1,000 on something just to take apart and not being able to return it. Let's see what's going on with this. Channel points.
What did one ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing, it just waved.
I'm gonna make them alerts they can't refuse.
All right. Okay, hold on, guys. Some weird's going on here. This morning. Do you see other like Steam machine clones with cheaper options with different Steam OS like Bazite? Honestly, I don't know any other companies that are going to put the time and effort into creating a device that is like this, because they're already, all of the other companies that would be doing this already have their own version of this in the segment, but they're full size PCs. So I genuinely don't see them putting in the time and effort with that. I mean, it would be nice if they did, but odds are they are not going to. Yeah, minis form. The only other companies that would be doing this would be major manufacturers. Your MSI, your Asus, your Lenovo, like they did following in the footsteps of the Steam Deck. I think the Steam machine price will increase closer to launch we get. There is a good chance that we're going to see something around $1,100. Hello over on YouTube. Ram, can you go ahead and try and do another redemption and we'll see if this thing is working or if I need to re-add it? I will refund y'all's points. No, I need a question submission, because that's what's not working.
Hi.
It's working. It says hi. Okay, it worked, Emily. Thank you. I knew you were on your phone, so I wasn't sure.
Like with Steam Machine, will it take off and others copy them and sell them with their own branded software?
No, I don't think this is going to be the same thing with the Steam Machine. I think they were shocked by the popularity of the Steam Deck, honestly. I think with this, Valve is wading into territory that is already kind of sort of controlled by two companies, Sony and Microsoft. And they're going to come in and they're going to offer a device that is double the price of those. So I don't think it's going to be underwhelming, Ramrod. I think it's going to be whelming. I think it's going to be priced exactly right where that level of performance, that's what it costs. Valve goal,
Do you think run Windows on it?
yeah, probably. I don't see why it couldn't. If you wanted to, I don't know why you would, but you definitely could. With Valve's goal of it just works and just being able to turn it on, install games, press a button, and then start playing, I mean, it makes sense that that is what they're going for. All right. Let's look at this here. Is it okay to put my PC on a shelf like this? So when you're looking at something like this, the thing that you have to worry about is airflow behind the case, especially with rear intakes like that. I'd say it's fine as long as there is space. As long as you have plenty of airflow at the rear of the case. Going to be, actually it's not the rear. You'll be fine. Build question. Different RAM speeds, same brand. I bought a Micro Center bundle to replace a broken motherboard. I previously bought some RAM separately to make sure my DRAM post issues were a motherboard problem, not a RAM problem. However, these sticks are not identical like I thought they would be. One is 6400, one is 6000. Will the mismatch between them matter? I know it's usually good practice to use RAM from the same brand, but I figure the speed is probably more important for stability. For what it's worth, I already have that. So, in all actuality, as long as your memory is on, what is it, the QL list? Is that what it's called? Is it QLC? No. QVL? Yeah, QVL list. As long as your memory is on the QVL list, you should be fine. As far as different speeds, what's going to happen is the motherboard will downclock whatever the higher number is down to the lower number. So if you're paying the same amount for them, it doesn't really matter as long as the numbers aren't wildly different. Like one number is literally 4,000, one number is 6,000. You'll have a little bit of stability problems there, but it'll bring the top number down to the lower number. So it'll still work. It just won't be great. So memory, mismatched memory will be brought down to the lower speed memory, unless you are doing some sort of overclocking. But it should be stable. With no tinkering. All right, next question. Should I get an anti-sag bracket? Yes. With how cheap anti-sag brackets are and how expensive motherboards and GPUs are, it's a 100% of the time purchase. Oh, I don't do any builds without them. Anymore. With how ridiculous heavy these GPUs have gotten. Supply and demand, and supplies are low right now. Yep, I would definitely, because yeah, QVL, thank you. I appreciate that over on YouTube. I would definitely, because you don't want to damage your PC parts, since the cost seems like it's on the rise even more. Yeah, there was an announcement last night that we're going to see power supply costs go up 6 to 10%. After I specifically asked you not to say that in the chat yesterday, everyone knows the industry just watches my channel and they don't say anything, and then they just copy whatever I do, and then they just listen to you guys. So, you know, thanks for jinxing us yesterday. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but without fail, whenever we start talking about something on this channel, independent of going and doing research or independent of going and like trying to put together a build or something, or trying to put together like a video or something, like we are for some odd reason at the bleeding edge of every industry decision that gets made. It's weird. My new PC is running terribly. I just bought a new PC and I'm running a Ryzen 7 7700, 32 gigs of RAM, and a Radeon 9070 XT. I just turned it on and I'm running Marvel Rivals at 8 FPS, Baldur's Gate 3 at 6, and Minecraft at 20. All right, so if this is your first PC, welcome. If it is not, then a couple things to look at. One, make sure your screen I would say monitor, is plugged into GPU and not the motherboard. This can lead to using the onboard actually we'll say integrated instead of the dedicated GPU. So if you want to, if you are unsure, you can post up a photo of the back of your T, and we can take a look to reset all of your in-game settings. If you played on a different console, on a different computer, actually, we'll say, previously, those settings might be following you around. And resetting them should fix some of your problems. Just going to go with a couple things to look at. Previously using all right. We got that. And the other one is help need advice. Gaming PCs. My 11-year-old son is wanting to purchase a gaming PC, which he is madly trying to save up for. Based on what I've seen price-wise, he's only about a third of the way to his goal. He would like to build one, but I am not sure how difficult it is. I am not super tech savvy. Also, I don't know how fast tech moves in this space, so I'm hesitant on him starting to buy parts bit by bit if by the time he saved up enough, it doesn't have great specs anymore. Can please give me some specs for a semi-decent PC or even a pre-build, as this is a foreign language to me and layman's help. All right, there are two trains of thought. Actually, we're not even going to say that. There are parts that you can buy now and build later. With no real worry of the tech being outdated. Things like the power supply, case and storage, generally are always needed, and while new things will always come out, they are not going to be wildly different from what is available now. If you buy parts that do move, that advance regularly, such as CPU, motherboard, and GPU, if you buy, quote, top of the line now, then it will still be good in a couple years.
Might mention in today's climate it might be better to buy RAM and storage sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting there. That's going to be the next sentence.
Get there faster.
How about you just listen faster? Now, in the current environment, RAM and storage prices are doubling at a pretty scary rate. So buying that sooner than later is probably a good idea. Irrespective of anything else, you are going to need those. What is your budget? That way we can make some suggestions. All right. That's our... Yeah, Emily, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. I like being able to answer questions and help people. I like it to be more conversational, but... All right, let's try and turn this into a little, like, pixel script thing that I can put up on the tubes. Let's turn this off. Slide over here. Put this over here. All right. We'll figure out exactly how I want to word this. So this morning, during our morning roundup, we were talking about some... Nope, I want to jump right into a little bit different. So this morning, we were going through some threads on Reddit, and one of the questions that continues to be asked on Reddit is about what parts you should buy for a computer when. If you are in the process of leading up to building a computer and you want to slowly start piecemealing parts, a couple things to keep in mind. Power supplies, cases, storage, and memory are going to be needed for every single computer. And the technology associated with them does not advance at a rate where buying now is going to hinder you in the future. A perfect example is motherboard layouts in cases have basically remained unchanged with the ATX, ITX standards since the 90s. So you could, in theory, grab a computer case from the 90s and still slap your motherboard in it. There are exceptions to that rule, whatever. Memory. Every computer needs memory. So buying the current standard of memory is going to future-proof you at least for a few new years until the standard decides to change again. Storage. You're going to need someplace to put your files. Right now, prices on all this stuff is accelerating, but you still need to have storage. So buying storage now isn't going to hurt you in the future. The things that I would not buy and just sit on would be just a motherboard. If you buy a motherboard and a CPU, great. If you buy a GPU, great, that's fine. But buying just a motherboard or just a CPU are really the only things that you shouldn't buy and try and piecemeal together. So how can I take everything that I just said and like smash it together? Are you looking to build a PC and you want to buy parts one at a time so that it costs less pain on your wallet all at once? Here's the order you should buy parts in. Here is the order you should buy parts in to best utilize that. Start with a case, then buy a power supply, then probably find what CPU motherboard combo you want to buy and buy them together to make sure they work together. Then buy memory, then buy storage, then buy a graphics card. And you have yourself a fully built computer case, and you can buy each of those parts individually as they go on sale. One thing I highly recommend against is buying a CPU and then buying a memory. One of the things I highly recommend against is buying a CPU and then buying a motherboard separately. If you're not in this space regularly and you're not 100% certain of what works with what, you might end up buying a motherboard that you think supports all of this one style of chip, only to find out that it's not supported at all. So if you are interested in buying a computer piece by piece, that's probably your best bet. All right. Hey, did you know that I have a moderator that bought me a knife and some pens? His name is Ramrod. He's an awesome dude. Look at this awesome thing. Look, I mean, isn't that beautiful? So pretty, so great. Does it cut? It cuts. Does it kill? It will kill.